One ecosystem, you know them. We not frightened for nobody, but we respect everybody, and we better than everybody. So we will run with anybody. No fear, no better than we. No kind, no better than we. Step on me one and say, one ecosystem to the world you say. One ecosystem will do something, do something, do something, do something, uno do something, do something. I'm not talking. One ecosystem will do something, do something, do something, do something, uno do something, do something. I'm not bag of lip chasing. Hey, hey.
Okay.
It is. Okay.
Hi, hi, hi. Hope you're well out there. Welcome to all our guests. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are happy to have you in Beyond 2021. And we are going to discuss some interesting things today. As usual, that's our norm. So I'm going to pass you on to KDs, who is going to share with you compliance and some other things. So we are going to chat, we're going to talk. Wayne, what would you like to say before we go into our disclaimer? All right.
Well, listen. I see. This is not Dwayne here. This is Cliff. All right. First of all, let me apologize for the host, Brother Noel Emmanuel Jack. He wouldn't be able to be with us tonight. So we're trying manfully to be able to step up into his shoes. All right. So please, his fans, I know he has some fans out there. Please don't be disappointed. Please don't tune out, you know. And don't complain to him either. All right, we're trying our best here to reach a standard. Dwayne, we are
Yes, Cliff. Pleasant evening to our viewers on Beyond 2021. Right, we're in a new week. So much has happened this week. You know, we're trying to collate all the relevant information that's happening across the globe and to bring it concise to you guys so that you guys will have a greater understanding of what is really happening and the direction that.
Okay, Dwayne is getting some problems. So we're going to look at what I want to read for you first before Dwayne comes back. Good night, Daniel.
Nielsen, big one there, boy.
How you going? How you going? Sir. Good to have you. Can we get the disclaimer on so that I can share it with us? Because I want to tell people we are not That's a good place to begin, to let you know where we are. Dwayne will be back with us shortly, but I want to start this evening with because I know Cliff always like to share with us some stories.
Well, there's no story tonight, no story, but the as we say, we're not here to provide financial advice. However, I would like to just ask persons to put on your financial hat. Do not continue the prolonged conversation of what happened today, where there was the shake-up in the parliament about different ministers now wearing different hats. You understand? Be concerned about your financial future and what you could do to secure it. I know a number of persons would say, listen, hey, but I don't know if the project that you're talking about or the crypto world that you're talking about, how long that is going to take before it becomes more mainstream so that I could fully benefit. You have a point there. I can't tell you either how long that would take. What I could tell you, however, is that, as I say, listen to the advice tonight. Listen to what we're sharing, because we don't just talk off the top of our heads.
True.
Right? We go into in-depth research. Our company, which carries the brand One Ecosystem, we are education driven, so that as a result of it, we are full of knowledge and facts and what we enter. So guys, as we get into it now, we'll try to keep it as simple but interesting as possible. Do not get caught up with all the shake-up that took place today with the government and so on. They have their work to do. You have your future to decide. All right? So let's get into it, please.
I think Dwayne is back with us, because we're going to be looking at compliance. We're going to be looking at cryptocurrencies. We're going to be looking at blockchain. So, Katie, are you here?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me, Donna?
Yes, you're very, very clear.
Great.
Stay with us.
We're speaking about crypto compliance, CBDCs, and who will meet the standards this evening. That's our topic for this evening's show, right? So I know that you have something to read to our viewers tonight. So let's go straight into that.
Okay. For the past decade, the cryptocurrency industry has emerged and expanded to significant levels. Cryptocurrencies are a completely new form of the digital asset. Governments of most countries are still debating on how to treat cryptocurrency, while the financial industry has to act. Most conservative financial institutions try to ignore and refuse to work with crypto-related businesses. However, the cryptocurrency market is still expanding. Wayne, what do you think? Continue, right? We're going to read the rest.
Yeah.
Okay, such as the fiat world cannot be ignored, and most crypto-related businesses still settle in traditional currency like USD, Euro, or GBP, which is pound. It means that these crypto businesses have to comply with fiat world standards. Recently, the topic of cryptocurrency compliance and AML, which is anti-money laundering, we get there, is getting very hot. Requirements are getting higher, especially with the introduction of the 5th AML directive, the next edition of European AML regulation. It appears that most financial companies and even large banks have a good way to improve the way they analyze their clients and transactions. As a result, we see a number of companies, for the purpose of customer onboarding and monitoring, are doing KYC, which is Know Your Customers. They're doing AML, which is anti-money laundering. They're doing PEP, which is politically exceptional persons, I think, something like that check. They're doing that check, etc. But those service providers are more of an automation tool for, I've lost it just now, but for compliance, not a breakthrough. And I love that. So let's talk. And I am going to, let's talk. The thing of PEP is politically exposed person.
Nice.
That's something that I learned. And I say, wow, that's interesting. So, Katie's, let's hear what we have to bring with all that I've just read. What are we going to share this evening? What are we going to let people on?
So we're talking about the crypto space, and we're talking about the fact now that more than ever, the crypto space is still emerging. And now, as one of our beloved IMAs would say, we are seeing a tale of two economies coming together and actually dovetailing now, where cryptocurrency and fiat currency has to exist in the same space. I don't know if you can remember a couple of years ago, Nigel Batiste, I don't know if he's still the head of Republic Bank, but he was talking about the bank setting up some regulatory sandboxes for people to administer cryptocurrency while under the purview of the banking system. Cliff, could you remember that?
Yeah, well, he's not the head of Republic Bank. He was the head of the Bankers Association.
Bankers Association, right. My apologies. Yeah. So he spoke about that. He spoke about that integration with cryptocurrency and the banking system, and how they were about to set up some regulatory sandboxes was the terminology that he used to be able to facilitate this usage of cryptocurrency under the purview of the banking system. But of course, fast forward to 2022, and today, a lot of people are using Bitcoins to be able to make purchases. They're transferring funds through different cryptocurrencies. They're trading cryptocurrencies and generating fiat currency and actually liquidating some of their cryptocurrency into fiat. And of course, all of this now, because we're talking about the integration of fiat, because they're playing or they are dovetailing in the fiat currency realm, that fiat currency is governed by regulations. There are do's and don'ts that exist in that framework. And so with the integration now, it makes it difficult for certain track and tracing to take place. So we see where there's a need now for systems, blockchain in particular, that will help these organizations keep a track and trace of all digital information. And of course, that is where we sound our own trumpet as being one of the ecosystems that features blockchain technology, that features some of the compliance mechanisms as we pointed out before, KYC, Know Your Customer, AML, anti-money laundering legislation, PEP, and also CFT financing, which is combating terrorist financing. So these elements are already in existence in our cryptocurrency that is used in our global community. So that we are saying that our organization is ahead of the curve as far as regulations and compliance are concerned. But more so now, we want to educate our viewers about the reason for these things. So Dana, we wanna raise a topic, but we're gonna take a break and we're gonna be right back. So stick and stay with us. All right.
Get started now. Get started with your One Academy package. Get started with your starter package. It's only $1,600 TT. Get your financial education from the One Academy. Although it's a beginner package, the information you're going to get from your One Academy starter package, you would have more knowledge than 90% of the world's population on finance for just $1,600 TT. Let's create a revolution. Let's spread the epidemic of our One Academy, One Life. Get it today.
Welcome to the Antediluvian Nature Center of Life Extension and Health Recovery. Coming from the Garden of Eden, the Antediluvian Nature Center brings to you breakthrough medicines and anti-aging technologies for all ailments and diseases in the body, nutritional therapies, naturopathic treatments, as we create opportunities of hope and celebrate longevity. And remember, the healing is from God.
you know. What am I speaking about? Do you know what is cryptocurrency? Do you know what is blockchain technology? Are you aware of what we currently face on a regular basis with quantitative easing, fractional reserve lending? Do you know? I am inviting you to come out of the financial darkness and into financial light. The only way for us to achieve that is with education. And one particular type of education is what I'm speaking about. I'm asking you to join the One Academy. It is a financial revolution of teaching regarding introduction to finance, cryptocurrency, blockchain technology, helping you understand the world of money and what is money. What is money? Money is simple. It is what we agree upon to exchange for goods and services. If you want full comprehension, join the One Academy.
When I'm training for professional competitions, men and women always ask me for advice. To women, I say push yourself harder than you ever have before and go beyond your comfort zone. Focus on your goals. Men, if I am willing to push myself to become Mr. Olympia in 2022, then I only have one thing to say to you. Bring your
full 100.
Here we go again.
All right. Thank you, guys. Listen, Dwayne gave a mouthful there. First of all, we spoke about something called regulatory sandbox. I want to tell you, that gave me some pleasant memories, boy. I remember when that was first mentioned.
Yes.
In 2017, if I'm not mistaken, either the end of I think it was the end of 2017. You hear what I'm talking about? That is about 5 years ago now. And I told persons back then that the regulatory sandbox that Mr. Batiste was referring to is very similar to what we already had been introducing for the first time at the Hilton Hotel.
So
that is an avenue where persons can see coins can be used to purchase goods, actual physical goods.
And services.
And services, yes. And
Hey,
before I continue,
yes.
I want to just acknowledge
From the
Mr. June from the Philippines.
He has been on before.
He has been on, yes.
Yeah.
I want to say,
yes,
right. And I want to say also thank God for your continuous information and your feedback, sir.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yes, I love it.
No.
Yes, much appreciated.
Yes. As I said, we had demonstrated at the Hilton Hotel in 2017 what our sandbox looked like. The sandbox that they're talking about just wants to show that coins can be paid, and more than that, which is more important, that the registration showing the transaction being done with the coins has been made, so that we were able to show where we had you have a blockchain. The transaction was imprinted on the blockchain, and later on, when I say in the future from 2017, when an audit was done on our blockchain, the transactions were seen, so they were attested to. No, that is the sandbox. It's a nice name given for just that. When they say regulatory now, they wanted it to meet the standards set by central bank. Okay, we invited bankers to come to this event. We invited government officials to also come to the event because we went on television speaking about this, which we had. So we were very transparent in asking persons come and see it. A couple of persons from John Public did show up because I say we were on television, different stations leading up to that event. But yeah, the important thing is that since 2017, before they were speaking about this, we were already showing it. We weren't speaking about it now, we were showing it. And that is what it had me feeling excited.
Cliff?
No. You want to say something to it?
Yeah, I just wanted to interject 1 minute. Because
Yeah.
I know you're on a roll. Initially, if it is you want to sum it all up, what we can say about our expo in 2018, it was our proof of concept, where we told the public and the world about our community, and then we went out and executed it. So this was proof of concept. People were able to buy doubles, they were able to buy clothes, they were able to buy real estate, they were able to buy cars, they were able to pay for different services. And we had merchants from across the Caribbean, and we had persons who came from as far as Italy, Australia, Sweden, Germany, different South American countries. They came, they converted right here in Trinidad and Tobago, and we rolled out our proof of concept. There were so many merchants on that day in the Hilton. We were even featured on one of the local news stations. We don't want to give them any free publicity now, but because we're on Gael, of course, the premier channel, right? But I just wanted to put in that plug there of proof of concept first. Sorry.
You and Cliff bought it. You and Cliff bought back that day alive to me, boy. Wow, that was exciting.
In fact, viewers, there's one of our ads that you would see where the event that we are speaking of on the Hilton, you would see where captions had been taken and it is featured in the ad right there. But I also want to mention another point. The topic for tonight is compliance. And at first I was saying, boy, compliance is a heavy thing, boy, why get into that and so on? But I'll tell you something. Compliance is extremely important. You know why? I remember reading in the early 1900s in America, when the car industry, the automobile industry just started to come around. They said at that time there were almost 3,000 different companies and places manufacturing cars for people. You all heard what I said, eh? 3,000. Eventually, regulations came around into effect, and there had to have been compliance. Because the industry was now regulated, because remember, you had to put in safety standards and all of that.
Correct.
The car making industry boiled down from almost 3,000 car making companies to 3. You also want to see 3. In fact, the same big 3 still are involved today, right? So, that is one instance. So it shows you where compliance has a severe disruption to what exists. When we had what you call the .com era, yes, there was a boom at that time because everybody had gotten into this and people were making money like that. Why? Because people were able to come on, scam their way, and go and leave the industry. People promised things, it didn't materialize. Other persons paid for a service that just did not reach the standard that they thought would have been there. When regulations came around, all right, and I believe that would have been around the year 2000 if I'm not mistaken. When regulations came around to that same .boom, the .com era, which they had called the .boom, when the regulations came around, because of the number of companies that had to fall by the wayside, they could not reach the climax set by regulations and compliance. It changed from what you call the .boom era to the .doom era. .boom to .doom, and many investors lost their money because what they were backing, the companies fell through. So I realize this is so important. Why? Because you, the listeners, are in the same situation now. You're faced with a whole ton of crypto companies out there. Almost every day a new one is coming on board.
Yep.
We have remained true to the path. We have not reached our final destination as yet. We're still a way off. All right? Some persons have felt as though we should launch out fully now. And we are saying, no, we're not prepared as yet. All right? So some persons have been disappointed because of that. However, we also understand history repeats itself. And if you don't learn your lessons from history, you're deemed to repeat the same lessons.
Good point.
If
Yeah,
we
I
do
agree.
not
Good point.
understand from that what happened, and when compliance comes, when regulations come around, and we cannot meet the compliance standards that we believe that they would come out with, we also are going to fall through, just like the others have done in the past.
Quite correct, Cliff.
We aim to be around. We aim because persons who have put in some hard-earned money into purchasing education, and by extension have gotten use of tokens which have been converted to coins. You would understand the process when you come on board.
True.
Right? You would understand how our one ecosystem is more than just a segment or an arm of the business. It is a community, you and me, representing this whole project. You and me are the blood and sweat of this thing here. Right? Cryptocurrency, yes, is what is being used in between. However, you and I make up this ecosystem. And if we don't understand it together, then we cannot comply efficiently and effectively to carry this project through.
That's why we are here.
And that is why we are here.
And that's why
Okay, so
Fandana,
Huh?
many moons ago, I said I made a statement on social media that money is a concept, and I got some flack for it, right? But money is a concept. The only thing that gives money or currency its value is the belief that we place on it. And for the members of our global network who are out there who view this show on a weekly basis, you guys are the lifeblood. We, together, corporately, are the lifeblood of this project, simply because we believe that our cryptocurrency among our community members has a steady appreciating value. We utilize that to access goods and services on a weekly, a monthly, a yearly basis. And I give thanks for the one, because it has allowed me to do some things financially that I couldn't otherwise do.
That's right. That's right.
I'm telling you, it was a rough transition when I came into the organization. But from having little to no money and to see my buying power increase with time, and now with coupled with the financial education, I am waiting for opportunities to invest the fund on. Right?
I know we're going to a break in a little while, but I want to stroke a little fire before we go to a break. So maybe our listeners and viewers could ponder on that. I have seen where persons recently are crowdfunding to purchase islands. Islands in the Pacific Ocean, islands in the Caribbean Sea also. I have seen recently also where a particular group of guys came together, purchased a particular island. The island was no more than, I think, almost 2 kilometers long, or 2 kilometers square, 2 square kilometers, something like that. They paid about $250,000 for it. And get us now, guys. And these guys were able to establish this island to have its own sovereignty, meaning island, all they hear the size I give you 2 kilometers. The island has its own anthem. The island has its own flag. The island is now, the guy is trying to introduce certain services. Akon City.
I was just about
Akon
to say that.
City, the
Did
same singer
thing.
Akon
Did the same
has
thing.
done the same thing
That's
some
right.
years ago
And it's
using cryptocurrency.
That's right.
And this fire that I want to stroke, because I see we have people from the Philippines, Mr. Jun, who has reached out to us tonight. We have had persons from Sweden. We have had Tamara from
the UK.
The UK. So we have had persons out there.
Uganda.
We have people right here in Trinidad too.
Tell me guys. I want to ask you before we go on the break. Think about this. Do you think it is possible where a few of us can come together, purchase an island, and say we are using the coins of one ecosystem as that currency? You know why I'm saying so? Because if that is adopted and accepted as the currency of that remote, non-existent island right now, because we have not purchased it as yet, just imagine if that comes on board, we can now trade with persons in other parts of the world because they have that currency which we are using. Think about that.
Because it's a sovereignty.
Because we have a sovereign, we also carry our own sovereignty.
Yes.
Guys, how many persons ever say, boy, Trinidad loses sweetness. I wish I could get back that. Imagine you establish your own island to bring back your sweetness and you have your own currency. So I think we're going to take a break with that. And maybe we could talk about it or we could just leave it there.
Stay the course, guys.
Good day all, my name is King James, part of the One Life Network Caribbean team. If you have no knowledge of what is cryptocurrency, blockchain technology, I'm inviting you to get started with this concept. It is $1,610 TT for you to participate in a financial curriculum that will help shape your world and your future, but better and greater than that. In our curriculum, there's no school that teaches our children about finance. This is a unique opportunity for you to get involved in practical and theory. You need the best of both worlds. The theory we offer allows you to participate in the practical. Position yourself strategically. Get a starter package from one of your local IMAs somewhere near to you, some cousin, friend, uncle, some loved one. Do not hold back yourself from getting started with our organization. One life for more life. One Academy. Join the financial revolution.
Get started now. Get started with your One Academy package. Get started with your starter package. It's only $1,600 TT. Get your financial education from the One Academy. Although it's a beginner package, the information you're going to get from your One Academy starter package, you would have more knowledge than 90% of the world's population on finance for just $1,600 TT. Let's create a revolution. Let's spread the epidemic of our One Academy, One Life. Get it today.
This is Full 100, an all-natural herbal dietary supplement formulated exclusively for men. Our proprietary blend was designed with one goal in mind: to improve your overall health, rejuvenating your vitality, energy, strength, and libido. Want to be at your peak performance in everything you do? Then
get Full 100.
Fast-acting, long-lasting, with no side effects.
Oh my God.
Yes, folks, welcome back. Welcome back. Well, of course, you know, every Wednesday on Gael, on Beyond 2021, you the
Hi,
viewers of
Michael.
learn something. Hi, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
Right? So we're talking about crypto compliance, and we've now segued into our second topic of the night, which is CBDCs, central bank digital currencies. For those of you who have not heard the term before, that is what it stands for. And we want to go into a little video that gives you some explanation and some context as to what central bank digital currencies are all about. So hold on to your hats as we go towards this video, and then we'll come back and have some discussions, okay?
In one of our previous videos, we discussed that central banks were experimenting with their own form of digital currencies to counter the tsunami of cryptocurrencies we are currently witnessing. You see, central banks dislike private decentralized money like Bitcoin because they can't control the supply of it, and it also threatens the sovereignty of their own national currencies. Hence, numerous central banks around the world, from countries like China to Sweden, South Africa to the European Union's ECB, that's European Central Bank, are working on their own state-issued CBDC. So what exactly are these CBDCs, or central bank digital currencies? How will they affect you? Let's dive straight in. A CBDC is a digitized version of a domestic currency that's equal to physical cash that you and I use, or the reserves that your commercial bank holds at the central bank. I'm sure you're thinking, wait a minute, my money is already digital. From my payment apps to my bank transfers to my credit cards. We're not, after all, physically transferring cash when we pay each other, right? Well, these transfers where we pay each other online are account-based debits and credits that are essentially happening between commercial banks. I pay you, my account is debited, your account is credited, and that settlement takes place between our respective banks. These accounts are not stored at the central bank level. Central bank digital currencies, however, are a direct liability of the central bank and are most likely token-based, where these tokens would be represented on a blockchain established by the central bank. Unlike public blockchains like Bitcoin and Ethereum, where the information recorded is available to all, these are private or permissioned blockchains, which only the central bank and the parties it chooses can have access to. Now, there are two kinds of CBDCs. Wholesale CBDCs that facilitate payments between commercial banks and central banks, or entities that hold their accounts with central banks. Now, these have more to do with the infrastructure and the plumbing of the financial system and don't affect you and me directly. The other one is retail CBDCs that can be used by businesses as well as people like you and me. Imagine holding currency in your mobile wallet and the currency is directly issued by the central bank. Now, this could have huge implications for any country. There are so many unbanked or underbanked people in countries like ours and other developing nations around the world. Retail CBDCs could make a strong case for financial inclusion because the central bank could directly transfer funds to the unbanked, as long as they have a mobile phone. Imagine funds being transferred for COVID relief and to help people during natural disasters. The central bank could also utilize CBDCs as a tool to influence monetary policy. To spur spending in order to kickstart the economy during recessionary periods, the central bank could theoretically add an expiration date to the money transferred. So you could be compelled to make purchases with that money instead of hoarding it. This would increase the velocity of money in the economy. The opportunities are plenty, but there are a few risks involved as well. If we could all hold our money with the central bank, why hold money at your neighborhood branch of a commercial bank? This could lead to a run on your commercial bank and could have grave consequences for the entire banking industry. Now, it's highly unlikely the central banks would want to risk that because a strong banking system is crucial for the financial health of an economy. And B, central banks just aren't designed to deal with millions of retail customers. So the approach is most likely to be two-tiered. Issue the CBDC to the banks who then issue it to the retail customers. This would allow the authorities the room to experiment with this new financial tool without disrupting the entire banking model. Technology is changing money as we know it, so let's embrace it with open arms. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week.
So my
Interesting
people,
topic.
so my people, and guys, listen, if you think this is some airy fairy pie in the sky thing, right? Just today, or just yesterday, I saw a video where the Central Bank of Jamaica is issuing CBDCs, and they're actually offering the first 100,000 persons to sign up for accounts. They are going to get some Jamaican CBDCs in their digital wallet, right? So there's so much to say, Cliff. You know, I'll leave the floor open because there's so much to discuss in that video. I took some notes, and I'm going to be pointing something out as we go into the discussion.
But let me ask a little question here, or let me bring up a point here. And CBDC is the same as your fiat currency, just in numbers, just in digital format. Isn't it the same? Wouldn't it have the same issues or problems or things that is associated with it? Just how we print money when we need it. I wish I could print some right now. But just as we print money when we need it, would the CBDCs be the same thing that you can do whatever you want with it? I can change the number, I could lower it, I could increase it as I want. Isn't it the same thing as fiat currency? Some of them are going to have blockchains attached to them, am I right?
You see, correct. Right. Now, Donna is making a point there that I'm not sure a number of our listeners understand or appreciate.
Right. Yes.
And I want to, you see, Donna is so bright that she just glossed over it and gone.
Yes.
She didn't realize that she's striking a chord there, a nerve. Understand something. The reason why cryptocurrency was born is because of the high runaway inflation. And a lot of inflation really means your money value decreasing all the time. Your power to purchase items is getting smaller and smaller. You don't believe me? Tell me what your $100 could buy now compared to what it was last year. Or, do you want to say last year, 2 months ago? 2 months ago, right?
Yeah.
And now we're hearing about gas going to be going up and flour going up and all kind of thing. So you put dollar
everything
value.
Except salary.
Well, yeah, what's going on? All right. You see, I make a point there. I suspect very much, no, I am not the Minister of Finance, but I suspect very much as we get closer to elections, they're going to raise the minimum, what do you call it, the minimum value for jobs. They're going to raise it. Minimum wage, right? They're going to raise the minimum wage because after all, they were taken away
I like
because
Dwayne.
of different
things.
So they're going to increase the minimum wage.
True.
And why they're able to increase the minimum wage? Well, all the government has to do is print more money to match the increase in the wage. Understand that? That is all. All they need to do is have more money printed, put into circulation to match the increase in the minimum wage. And
because he who controls the money supply controls the world, and that's the reality. They control the money supply, so they control the world.
So because of this constant printing and putting into circulation, that has created inflation runaway, right? The U.S. government has found ways to be able to suppress inflation in the past, but it is reaching to the point now where they are going to have to loosen the cap.
Let us show them what Michael Francis is saying.
Listen, they have our next bright one in the class. He's saying, Mr. Francis is saying, if I do something that the banks think is offensive to them or the government, what is the position of my money in these banks? I guess we're talking about is if you were to go and print money, right? So if you were to go and print money, I think you know the repercussions of that. The government can do so. Anyhow,
Cliff.
But I just want people to understand that what Donna is saying, that with digital coins or digital currencies coming in by the banks, the same method of operations are going to be put in place, whereby the central bank now no longer being able to print paper money because they go into digital currency. Guess what? They can print additional zeros.
Yes, ones and zeros.
Right. So by using ones and zeros, which is what you call the binary system of algorithms, using ones and zeros, you can print, you can form any digit you want, ones and zeros, right? From 0 to 9. All right. And with that, it's an easy road after that. All the government has to do is keep backing the word that we are going to honor it, because we have put it into being through the central bank. But guess what? By doing that, by continuing along that course, you are continuing along the lines of inflation, and inflation eats away at your wealth. And guess what? It eats away at the inheritance that you have left for your children. Imagine you feel you leaving $300,000 or let's say $3 million worth of real estate or whatever it is for your children, and because of the runaway inflation, what they actually get is a fraction of that $3 million, and they want to know, but why my father and mother were so contented and telling me, don't worry, all you're going to be smiling when I'm dead and gone. And they want to know what we're smiling with. This, that is what inflation does.
I want to take you back a little track.
I think Dwayne
want to say something. When you finish doing
yes. Well, a couple of things, right? So if we go back into the first half of the program, Cliff started with the dot-com situation, right? And that was called the dot-com bubble. Then we had the financial bubble back in 2008, right? And now what we expected to have is the crypto bubble, right? So these things are cyclical. And over a period of time, you see history sort of repeating itself, guys. So listen, we are the voice of many crying out in the wilderness, letting you know that, listen, these things are cycles that are happening in the world. And what you need to do is position yourselves to avoid the pitfalls of these cycles, diversify your income. Cliff just spoke about real estate. Real estate is one of the asset classes that actually traps value, because as someone would have said some time ago, backland today becomes frontland tomorrow. I remember a good friend of mine in South declaring that his grandfather purchased a piece of land for about $2,500 back in the day. That same parcel of land is now worth $2.5 million and escalating in value as the real estate market value increases, right? So that shows you the prudence of investment. Now, you have to understand something. You have to mix it up, because listen, when land is difficult to sell, you could have all the land in Trinidad and Tobago and still be illiquid, meaning that you have no assets to be able to trade with to create instant liquidity. So therefore, you need to mix it up. You need to have some livestock, you need to have some vegetables, you need to have some fish, or you need to have some life skills that you can be able to trade for whatever you need. And this is the dispensation we're coming back to. In days gone by, we had trade schools. And my good friend who passed away, Kerry Nesfield, in his days, trade school, Shagaramas, Presto, and all the different youth camps where young men and young women would go to learn trade and be empowered. These persons have gone on to become contractors in our country, and some of them have even gone abroad and made a name for themselves in different industry. And today now we're seeing a deluge of persons who are overqualified, and there are no positions to fill their qualifications. So listen, guys, the writing is on the wall, right? We are seeing finance changing, as Cliff alluded to. It's a binary system, ones and zeros. So they've simply shifted the game from rectangular certificates that we have in our hands to putting it where it's always been, in a binary system, ones and zeros. So it's the same thing. But of course, generic cryptocurrency, the likes of Bitcoin and others, have come to replace and disrupt that system, whereby we just need to agree amongst ourselves that this has value, and we transact business. Not so, Cliff and Donna?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I want to just mention some. Oh, Donna wanted to say something.
Yeah, I want to do a little backup. You remember when we started, the guy said something in that video, and that is the key thing. I'll tell you what he said just now. It's about control, he said. You see, cryptocurrency, this is what I read at the very beginning. Cryptocurrencies are a completely new form of the digital asset. But governments of most countries are still debating on how to treat cryptocurrencies. You know why they're debating on it? Because they want to find out how they could control it. The whole idea is control. Because if I let go of what I have in my hand, which is our money, right? Our cents and dollars is what gives the bank power. That's what gives the bank power. So when cryptocurrency came in now, and cryptocurrency suddenly started giving me power, make me wealthy, right? They must block it. They have to find a way to block it because you see, they don't want that. They want to hold you where they can have you weak.
All right. And on that weak note, we're going on a break. All right, we're going on a break for just a couple of minutes. All right, and then when we come.
When I'm training for professional competitions, men and women always ask me for advice. To women, I say push yourself harder than you ever have before and go beyond your comfort zone. Focus on your goals. Men, if I am willing to push myself to become Mr. Olympia in 2022, then I only have one thing to say to you. Bring your
full 100. Here we go again.
Do you know? What am I speaking about? Do you know what is cryptocurrency? Do you know what is blockchain technology? Are you aware of what we currently face on a regular basis with quantitative easing, fractional reserve lending? Do you know? I am inviting you to come out of the financial darkness and into financial light. The only way for us to achieve that is with education. And one particular type of education is what I'm speaking about. I'm asking you to join the One Academy. It is a financial revolution of teaching regarding introduction to finance, cryptocurrency, blockchain technology, helping you understand the world of money and what is money. What is money? Money is simple. It is what we agree upon to exchange for goods and services. If you want full comprehension, join the One Academy. Good day all, my name is King James, part of the One Life Network Caribbean team. If you have no knowledge of what is cryptocurrency, blockchain technology, I'm inviting you to get started with this concept. It is $1,610 TT for you to participate in a financial curriculum that will help shape your world and your future, but better and greater than that. In our curriculum, there's no school that teaches our children about finance. This is a unique opportunity for you to get involved in practical and theory. You need the best of both worlds. The theory we offer allows you to participate in the practical. Position yourself strategically. Get a starter package from one of your local IMAs, somewhere near to you, some cousin, friend, uncle, some loved one. Do not hold back yourself from getting started with our organization. One life for more life. One Academy. Join the financial revolution.
And from the weak point, I'm taking you to Cliff. Let him put some strength into it. I love it.
Listen, Dwayne said something earlier. I don't know if the listeners picked up on that, where he said, listen, there are some life skills you need to adopt. You're getting into a new arena. And people don't realize you're going into a new dispensation, a new technological age. I am seeing recently, for those of us in the Caribbean, where UE has advertised, they have already announced that they are going to be introducing increase in the fees for education.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, you know, many persons want to get the children or the young people want to be able to go after school. Remember, for me to have the edge to get a job, that's what people feel.
You gotta go to university.
Right? I want people to understand that this is how the mindset is. I have a little 9-year-old granddaughter. I have to be constantly reinforcing in her mind because when I asked her the other day, I say, but she tell me she don't like school. So I say, why you don't like school? So she has explained to me why. And I agree with her because she tell me, I say, okay, tell me 2 things you like about school. She tell me recess and lunchtime. You understand? No, that's how I was too. I was like that, right? So that's her favorite time in school. So I was telling her, okay, but you need to get education. Do you know why you need to get an education? And in her mind, she said it very innocently, because I need to get a job. So I had to now redeploy that kind of thinking. I had to try to change it up. It will take a little while because it's ingrained there. That's what they teach us, right? And Dwayne said there is a new skill that you have to adopt. But people who are going to be rushing into UE to get that BA, that bachelor's, and when you finish the bachelor's, you realize, oh God, a whole set of people have bachelor's. So I had to get the edge again. I had to go for the master's. And oh God, you're going for that, but it still have people with masters. So I had to get the PhD. And guess what? By the master's to the PhD, you're going for the job thinking that you deserve the thing. And they tell you, okay, no problem, but what experience do you have?
Yeah.
Well, I couldn't have experience. Remember, I was there beating the books to be able to get the degrees.
That is
13 years, 13 years. You're slaving to get this qualification.
So
And
you're paying a higher cost to UE to qualify to get on this treadmill, this education treadmill, and then disappointment sitting in your face. You can't get what you want. Guys, we offering you education, some insight into the new dispensation. Come on board on what we have. And I guarantee you that the length of time you have to wait until after UE to get some kind of hope. With us, you don't have to wait so long. I promise you that. All right? So guys, I want to wrap up my part here because we're coming to an end. I want to thank those of you who have been listening. I know that we had so much more content, but I told you I wanted us to keep it simple, and I hope that whatever we discussed, everybody got a grasp on. Right? I want to pass it over to my wife, and then, of course, the Honorable Dwayne K needs to call it a night.
For sure. I'm not saying much because I realize the world is going technology, and we have to catch up. Don't be one of those who will look at it after it has passed. Join it now and become part of something that will put you in a better place in the future. At this point in time, it may not seem so, but it's happening. It's part of what is happening. Thank you.
Well, what I'd like to say is that there was a time that the men who now control the commerce of Trinidad and Tobago went from street to street, but walking and on bikes to sell their wares. And today, they employ the majority of Trinidad and Tobago.
So true.
The time is coming again for those of us who desire more out of life. And we will put our shoulders to the wheel and we will create generational wealth for the generations to come. Not to squander it on frivolous living, but to understand that as we continue to pay it forward, we improve not only the economic position of our generations, but spiritually as well. Because listen, money, wealth is a spiritual thing, right? not because you're righteous, you've sworn yourself to avoid poverty, guys. So, again, please come back, like and share, and see you guys next Wednesday.
Okay.
One ecosystem, you know them. We not frightened for nobody, but we respect everybody, and we better than everybody. So we will run with anybody. No fear, no better than we. No kind, no better than we. Step on me one and say, one ecosystem to the world you say. One ecosystem will do something, do something, do something, do something, uno do something, do something. I'm not talking. One ecosystem will do something, do something, do something, do something, uno do something, do something. I'm not bag of chasing. Aye.